Update. My stepdad said he is proud of me and I panicked. Original post. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 12 because dad cheated on my mom with her sister. Mom kicked dad out of the house and requested full custody. He didn't even contest it because he wanted to be with his mistress at that time. I dreaded going to their house on weekends. I didn't recognize the man who was supposed to be my father. He and his mistress were too clingy in front of me. I was 15 when I decided to just stay with mom and visit him once or twice a month. He didn't mind. To him, I do not exist. By then, my mom started to date Jack. He was a single dad of 2 girls who are much younger than I am. They are now 10 and 11. Jack has always tried to bond with me, but I shut him down. He came to all my games and PTA meetings. He was an active member in my life. I didn't want anything to do with him. I didn't mind he was dating my mother, but I just didn't want any relationship beyond that. I am now 18 and graduated high school with the highest honors. I was asked to give a speech, and after the ceremony, my mom and stepsisters came to congratulate me. Then my stepfather came and said, "That was so good. I almost teared up after hearing your speech. I'm so proud of you, son. I'm glad that I have a son like you." I don't know why, but hearing him say he is proud of me just made me shocked. Probably because my own dad never said that to me. He didn't even bother showing up at my graduation ceremony. I just left the premise with the excuse of bathroom, but I was panicking. I also feel guilty for pushing him away when all he ever wanted was be a father in my life. What do I do now? Say thank you? Give him a high five? Write a speech? Now for the top advice before reading the update. Would you feel comfortable in confiding in your mom what you wrote here? Maybe you can ask her for suggestions on how to proceed to form a better relationship with your stepdad. If you're not comfortable with talking to your mom, you can suggest doing something with just your stepdad. Just the two of you. A walk, ice cream, coffee, lunch, etc. Get to know him and let him know what he said to you after your speech meant a lot. That you hope you can continue to make him proud and that you can appreciate him being a part of your life. I'm glad you realize how awesome your stepdad is. Oftentimes, we read how the stepchild hates the stepparent for no reason. When you became older, you will realize that the most important people in your life are those who love, care, value, and respect you, not the ones you have the most fun with. Your stepdad sounds like he truly loves you. Value is love. It's too late to form a relationship. I deliberately chose a college in another state because I just wanted to be alone. Now I regret it. I gave the excuse that school has a better science program. It's never too late to form a relationship. He is still trying with you. You have opened the door into your heart. Walk through it and connect. He and your mom understand you have a wall up because of the rejection by your father. It is okay. You can take a small step and talk with him and tell him how you feel. You will grow a relationship even if you are out of state. I think you've hit the nail on the head here. OP's stepdad knows what issues you have and is still trying and showing you love, despite your rejection to open up to it. Accepting the love in any way, shape, or form will fill stepdad with pride, rather than suddenly stop caring, which I imagine is OP's irrational fear. They're willing to show love and persist when you're not ready, and they will continue to do so after you are. Now for the update. So yesterday was my graduation party. The day after I posted here, I did talk to my stepdad. I said thank you to him, and also explained my side of the story that I panicked, because this is the first time I ever heard someone say they're proud of me. He was happy. I further decided to take a step forward to our new relationship. You see, my stepdad has been asking me to teach him how to use TikTok and record in it. He is not really tech savvy. I opened an account for him and showed him how to use it. He wanted to make TikToks with my mom, lol. I even asked him if he can teach me how to ride a bike. I've been eager to learn it. And he said he will go bike shopping right after my party. The party was great, but there was a drama caused by my sperm donor. I didn't want to invite him, but my mom insisted since he is my dad, I should at least send an invitation. I wasn't expecting him to show up, and that man had the audacity to bring his mistress with him. I was angry, but my mom told me to just ignore them. That's what I did. I didn't interact with him, but he somehow managed to corner me and said congratulations. His mistress tried to congratulate me, but I just turned away. Halfway through my party, I was asked to give a speech. I wanted to show my appreciation to my stepdad. That was my speech was about. I thanked my mom and my stepdad for all the hard work they have done, and also appreciated my stepdad for being there for me when I needed a father figure. Needless to say, it angered my sperm donor, and he wanted to know why I never mentioned him. I asked him what my age is. He mumbled and gave excuses. There was a fight between me and him. I exploded on him, that he basically abandoned me and my mom when we needed him. He is a very shameless man parading his mistress in front of Mom, knowing this is Mom's sister. I do not need his approval for anything. He never played a part in my life, so why should I thank him? The fight was big. My uncle had to step in and kick both of them out. My mom felt guilty because she was just trying to do the right thing. I know she has this eagerness to do what's right, but she can be wrong sometimes. If I'm being honest, I'm glad he came and saw that he has no place in my life. His only child will never speak to him ever again. I'm glad he saw my mom was 100 times happier with my stepdad than she was with him. I'm glad his mistress came and saw none of our family members want to accept them. I enjoyed the rest of the party with my friends and family. My stepdad decided that we would go on a short trip before going to college. I told him I will look for an option to transfer my credit to a closer college so that we can be closer to home. He encouraged me to not do that because the college I chose does have a good science program and good reputation for engineering. Plus, he said I need to leave the nest to learn how to survive in the real world and told me to not worry about them. He is just one phone call away. I am super glad. Even though it took me a while, I will cherish the remaining days with my stepdad and siblings. My mom felt guilty because she was just trying to do the right thing. I know she has this eagerness to do what's right, but she can be wrong sometimes. Yep, there was no right thing to do. Hopefully she's learned and she won't be pushing you to, I don't know, invite him for your future wedding or to meet your future kids, etc., etc. I'm glad that apart from that, your mom and your stepdad have been amazing to you. I'm glad that I saw my mom was 100 times happier with my stepdad than she was with him. I'm glad his mistress came and saw none of our family members want to accept them. Best revenge is to live a better life. I bet your dad will dump his mistress because they don't look as good as he thought. I do not blame Mom. She wants to do what's good for me. I sent the invitation before the graduation ceremony. I wasn't expecting him to show up. The stepdad sounds like a great guy. I'm glad OP has him in his life. I hope they're able to bond more. I teared up when stepdad told him to stick with his plan of going away to school so he can learn independence. That's damn good parenting, great advice, and just damn good stepdad. I need to go cry now. Stepdad really seems to understand he came into the life of a kid who had every reason to be wary of him, at a time when the kid was naturally disengaging from parental figures. I'd allow the kid his pace and not taking the kid's attitude personally. We need more men in the world who have that kind of maturity and awareness. I just tried a post about the sociopathic father/baby. I needed this. Next story. My kids are going on a cruise and I'm upset about it. My ex and I split 8 years ago. We have 2 boys, aged 10 and 12. They live with her 1,200 kilometers from me and they travel to spend school holidays with me. Half of Christmas and Easter, but entirety of every other school holiday. We split because, well, she screwed me over in a bunch of ways. But our relationship had been on the rocks for a while, and it was clear I was the only one trying to salvage it. It's a long, depressing story for another time, perhaps. She married an accountant who, as far as I can tell from what the kids tell me, is a decent enough dude. Pretty wealthy. The kind of guy who takes his wife on holidays around the world 3 times a year. Suits her just fine, as she just schedules their getaways for school holidays, which is fair enough. He is standoffish with me in the limited interactions I've had with him, but I find it hard to blame him as I can only imagine the things his wife has told him about me if the lies she told to family court are any sort of indication. I've rebuilt my life pretty well, and I'm now doing better financially than ever before. My work is demanding, but if I had a time, I'd probably be close to being able to afford a couple of holidays a year myself. Because of this, and the fact that I've racked up an insane number of days off, and also to celebrate some postgraduate accomplishments and business successes, I've started thinking about treating myself and my kids to a holiday away when they're with me. I discussed the subject with my ex and the kids at Christmas just past. She agreed to get them their passports and I'd arrange everything by Easter. To book a cruise for just after next Christmas when I had the boys for 3 weeks. They wanted to go on a cruise, entirely my kids' idea. Well, alright. Bonus is, I have had some dealings with a particular cruise line through my company and could even save some money. Not that it's really an issue. The top picks were New Zealand and Vanuatu. Excellent, everything is coming together. Until tonight when I have my weekly call and find that my ex and her husband have booked a huge family getaway on a cruise to Vanuatu for Christmas. As in, they'll be at sea during Christmas. And because of that, the schedule for me having the kids is cut short by 3 days because they have to go back to school. Not only do I miss out on spending 3 days with my kids, instead of 3 weeks, it'll be 2 weeks and 3.5 days. It may not seem like much, but every minute is precious as far as I'm concerned. But that's just stolen this whole holiday idea. She knew I was planning it. The kids were in on it and excited to do it with me, and they've just swooped in and stolen my thunder. They've even gone with a different, much flashier and expensive cruise line. And she got the boys to tell me on speakerphone. They were so excited and happy that I couldn't say anything but play along and be enthusiastic for them. It was supposed to be our holiday, my boys and I. But how am I supposed to do it now? Who wants to go on a luxurious cruise for a couple of weeks, then do another one immediately afterwards to the same place but on a less luxurious ship? I feel like they intentionally waited for me to make arrangements, found out what I was planning, and then went out of their way to one-up me in every way. I just want to have a good time with my boys. I don't have any interest in these stupid games. I can't help but notice that my child support payments don't seem to be being spent on new shoes, underwear, or clothes or extracurriculars for the boys too. They used to do soccer and gymnastics, but she's stopped taking them because it cut into her afternoon relaxation time. I'm just gutted and tired. It's not hard to not be a prick. That is genuinely cruel of your ex. Keep your eyes on the prize, your kids. Don't let them deal with their reality. When they're older, they will notice. God bless. Can confirm, they will absolutely notice. Taking the high road now is difficult and painful, but they will eventually be able to figure out your ex is a nasty piece of work. Can you find something else to do? Skiing or a big theme park or just a new city that offers a lot for all of you? Wishing you luck and strength. They may not notice and may take the mother's side when they are adults and not give a damn about OP. OP needs to be the higher person because it's the right thing to do for his kids, and it also increases the likelihood the boys will see the truth one day. But odds are they won't. The mother has shown she's manipulative, and she's by far the primary caregiver. The fact she pulled this stunt is a sign she is for some reason fighting OP for the kids' affection in my opinion. I hope I'm wrong though. As someone who worships my deadbeat mom and all the lies she promised, they will see it. I don't remember much from my childhood, but I remember enough to go no contact with my mother. I'm afraid that is not given. If there is no outright abuse and the alienation is discreet but constant and well done, odds are it will work. People on Reddit like to say that kids will always end up seeing through parental alienation and BS, and all will be well in the end, but that's not always the case unfortunately. Last story. My husband won't let me parent my stepdaughter while borderline neglecting her. I, 37 female, have been married to my husband, 40 male, for 2.5 years now. He has a daughter, 15 female, with his ex, and they share 50-50 custody. However, he has consistently made bad decisions when it comes to parenting. First of all, she has been raised to be entitled and lazy. If I ask her to do something as simple as setting the table for dinner, feeding the dog, or bringing down her hamper for laundry, she almost always makes up an excuse. Sometimes as simple as, I'm on the phone with my friends or I just don't want to. She helps out with nothing around the house. It truly ticks me off how I have all the responsibilities of being a parent, but his word is still always over mine. I have to cook for her, do her laundry, and take her out to learn to drive. But if I dare say no to her, I'm the bad guy. I said no to her spending the night with her friend on a Friday because she had gotten a 64 on a test earlier that week and needed to study for a retake. My no, overruled. I'm also very often kept in the dark. For example, I will come home from work to find out that she is at a friend's house without any prior knowledge. If she wants to come home from school with a friend, she just texts him, and I have no knowledge until I get home. A couple weeks ago, I came from a client dinner to find out that she was at a concert with friends and one of their parents. This was on a school night, Thursday night, and they did not get home until after midnight. She was obviously tired the next day, and they just planned to allow her to skip school. All of this without my knowledge. The last straw happened yesterday though when I found out that she and 3 friends plus one of their dads were planning to go down to Florida over their spring break. When I found out, my alarm bells immediately went off. How the heck he thought a grown adult taking multiple underage girls to a whole nother state is all fine and dandy and cool is way beyond me. Especially when he barely freaking knows this guy. When I asked if he had done any sort of background check or look into this guy, he said no. But even more insanely, he had not talked to his ex, and he said that he would next week. He justified it by saying that the trip would fall on this week, so it was his decision. At this point, I'm 90% sure I'm done. The only reason I'm staying is to protect our daughter. I'm gonna reach out to her bio mother and see about what the next steps are. Your soon-to-be ex is likely divorced for the same reasons you're going to divorce him. Just know that your child will likely be in the same boat. Proceed with caution. His ex is not your ally. Sometimes it could turn out well and they could have shared interests and complain about a guy. I've seen this. But here, if the daughter is this awful, I would bet the mom is a bum too. Stop doing everything for her and let her have natural consequences. She's old enough to be doing most of these things herself. She won't do her laundry, then she won't have clean clothes. She won't feed a dog, don't get any more pets. Won't help with dinner, then she will have to make her own food. She won't help around the house, don't take her driving. Don't drive her to her friend's house. Who cares if you're the bad guy or look like the bad guy? Lay down the law with your deadbeat husband or leave him. It's very clear he doesn't want you to have a role in parenting his kid, so then don't. Stop worrying about her grades or how she'll get to school. Tell him that. This. If a 15-year-old is deemed mature enough to venture to other states with adult strangers, they are certainly old enough to wash their own clothes and cook their own food. Stop assuming responsibility for things that stepdaughter is able to do for herself. I would go completely hands-off and let her dad deal with it all. Doesn't have dinner? Talk to your dad. Doesn't have clean washing? Washing machine is right there. Doesn't take care of their dog? Speak to them about surrendering pup to a shelter to find a loving home. Doesn't clean up after themselves? Their room is the perfect place to store their dishes, etc., etc. You're not a parent, you're a slave. Let dad deal with all of it. Do not lift a finger to help. When he raises a protest, which he will, speak about divorce. Update. I caught my mom cheating and now my family went no contact because I didn't want to forgive her. Original story. My mom, female 51, cheated on dad, 58. If it was the first time, I don't know. Although I doubt it, but about 9 months ago, my younger sister, female 23, and I caught her in the act in mom and dad's bed when we got dates mixed and showed up in the wrong weekend to a supposed family gathering. I don't want to go into details since I don't know how much is relevant here, but the way we found them probably added to my anger and it forgiving of her. She swore it was a one-time thing, yada yada yada, and Dad believed her even though this crushed his spirit, and he's not his bubbly self after that and has lost a lot of weight since. Nobody else believed her, but my other siblings, male 33, male 31, female 31, and female 23, and some of the other family members who found out thought if he forgave her, it was good enough for them. And after a few months, everything was supposed to be as usual. I did not, however, forgive her. And I told her that evening she was dead to me, and she was never to be part of me or my baby's, 3 months female, life. I was pregnant at the time and I was supposed to break the news at that gathering. I kept my promise and refused to see or talk to her throughout the pregnancy. And she was raging and calling me selfish, cold-hearted, and a nihil for depriving her of her first grandchild. Not only her. The rest of the family seemed to think I am at the wrong too, including Dad, and they all went no contact with me. I suspect it's to pressure me to talk to her again, but my sister said no, they all just think I'm a big a-hole and don't want anything to do with me. The only ones on my side are my significant other, one cousin, and of course myself. I can't forgive her, not only for what I witnessed that will haunt me for the rest of my life, but even because of what Dad has become. I have never seen him so defeated and depressed. Always on the verge of tears whenever I ask how he was. And the last time we met, a month or so before I gave birth, he cried in the nursery he was helping me prepare for my daughter. I resented my mom even more. The thought of her in my life honestly makes me want to vomit. No one from my family have met my daughter since her birth. No one asked or called or did anything. My significant other, in a desperate attempt, sent a picture of me and my newborn baby to my family chat group and none responded. It feels like this is becoming a battle of me versus mom and she is winning. The problem is I love my family so much. We have always been so close. I wouldn't mind them having a relationship with both me and mom, but they're set on going no contact as long as I'm excluding my mom from my life. I miss them, and most of all, I miss Dad who I believe needs me now more than any other time. I am very lost and tired of crying myself to sleep every night, but I can't rid myself of the resentment. What can I do? Edit. Thanks a lot for the support I'm getting both here and on the chat. Although many are saying I'm being very dramatic, and cheating isn't that bad, and that I'm being silly to feel traumatized. I'm not judging cheaters, and I'm sorry for everyone who felt triggered. Of course, many can come back from infidelity and stay in their relationship. I'm just telling my experience. I am not, neither here nor privately going to give the kinky details. It's not about that. I leave that to your imagination and my nightmares. I will, however, tell what transpired afterwards. As I said, little sister and I got dates mixed and went to mom and dad's home. We heard commotion at mom's voice, and we thought she had fallen or something and hurt herself, so we ran upstairs in fear. But they saw us. It was the usual mom sobbing, telling us, "It's not what you think, it's not what you think," while getting dressed. The dude ran to the bathroom, and my sister is yelling and crying. I asked mom, "Is dad in on it? Does he know?" Because I thought they maybe had an arrangement. The dude then goes out in my dad's bathrobe, smirking, and he sat on a bed and started smoking. My sister is hysterical now, and I started yelling, "What's going on? Does daddy know?" I took out my phone to call dad and turned to get out of there, but mom jumped at me and knocked the phone out of my hand and begged me to stop. The dude then went to the door and locked it and stood there blocking it, chuckling. I turned to mom and told her to let us out. She came towards me and slapped me twice around my face, yelling at me to calm down. Sister was screaming, "Leave her alone, she's pregnant, you slut." And she had called dad and started sobbing and begging him to come. The dude heard dad is coming, so he took off the robe and started getting into his clothes in front of us. I took my sister and ran out and sat in the car waiting for dad. And that's what happened. Now for the top advice before reading the update. First of all, congratulations. Secondly, focus on your family, dear. You have a new baby. You don't need this BS in your life right now. You love and respect them, but they don't love you or respect you. That's not healthy for you. If they don't want you, don't make effort. Because you did nothing wrong, and you're making effort for nothing. I think they can even try to come back in your life when they realize you gave up on them. Thank you. I'm so sorry that your family's punishing you like this, just when you should be having so much joy sharing your baby with them. Get some counseling, even if it's to come to terms with what you saw that day. You know that wasn't the first time your mom cheated, and she's probably still doing it. But they've all decided to overlook it, and somehow they've transferred their anger at your mother's betrayal onto your reaction. Nice trick. Counseling, now. Edit. Well, I'm advocating counseling for OPs for her own peace of mind, and understand she has no part in the family's nuclear backlash. She deserves to drop the upset that's causing her distress and sleepless nights. I never thought of counseling, to be honest. Maybe I should give it a go. This is quite possibly the most mind-boggling post I have ever read on the sub. The fact that you literally did nothing wrong, and yet everyone is treating you like you're the worst person alive is downright infuriating. Honestly, screw the rest of them. They're awful for what they've done to you, but they made their choice, so let them stick with it. Even if they somehow realize they messed up, they're no longer worth your time and energy. Much like you, I'm more worried about your father. If you're not blocked, send him a message stating how much you care about him, and how if he wants to be in your child's life, he absolutely can. Then wait for him to respond when he's ready. And now for the update. First of all, thank you guys for still reaching out to me asking how I am, and if I had an update. I'm afraid things got a lot worse the last couple of weeks, and I'm very sorry if you were waiting for a happier update. I have tried to make this update as short as possible. If you wonder about anything, I will try to answer as best as I can. I mentioned in my original post that one cousin, female 22, took my side, or should I say, she didn't cut me off. She did some investigation and found out that there was this rumor about my little sister not being my dad's biological daughter. My mom told my siblings that I was the one who had spread this rumor to hurt her reputation, and that's what made them go no contact. When I told my significant other this, he was very shocked and told me he's been receiving anonymous texts and emails from a guy claiming that I was unfaithful with him and that our baby isn't my significant other's. My significant other didn't want me to know this before because of how I was, still am, doing. I made a final desperate attempt to contact my siblings and dad, and wrote them a very long email and asked my cousin to send it to them to make sure they got it. The only response I got is my oldest brother's fiancé emailing my significant other that we're uninvited to her and brother's wedding in April. That was a week ago. Yesterday, Dad called my significant other. He told him that he felt obligated to tell him the truth about me, that I have been lying to everybody and that I have made up the whole mom having an affair thing to cover my own unfaithfulness, and he advised my significant other to take a paternity test to make sure our baby is his. I heard everything because significant other had put him on speaker. I'm sorry, my update is lame and rather horrible. I have been crying on and off since yesterday, running to the bathroom being sick whenever I think about Dad's words. I don't know if I regret investigating further and not letting it go. I realize now that I won't be hearing from any of my family anytime soon, and for the first time in over 6 months now, that I think it maybe is for the best. What I don't understand is how her affair is being totally looked over when there was another witness beside you present. I only have one thing to say. Cut all contact with your whole family. And if you can move to another city/town or country, seek help ASAP and take care of yourself and your husband and your baby. This is easy. The mother, who is also obviously cooking up all those rumors, convinced the younger sister that what she'd seen wasn't what happened. The human mind does very weird things when traumatized and in shock. I wouldn't be surprised if the mother turned the whole thing too. It was OP who cheated in our bedroom with that guy, and the little sister and I found her. And now she's trying to pin that on me to cover up her affair. She most likely is also the one who sent those messages to OP's significant other. I had a wife like this. Insanity. Pure insanity. Catch her doing something and she would try to convince me it was her that caught me. Thought I was schizophrenic for a bit. My mom spread a rumor that my older brother was hooking up with our cousin when we were all teens. I only realized that she was the source of the rumor when I caught her trying to spread a similar rumor about my son and his cousin 20 years later. Some folks' parents really are monsters. You have a small kid. One day your daughter may face some difficult things in her life, and you'll be an example in how to handle dishonesty. Don't keep liars and cheaters around. It only drag you down. Surround yourself with the great people who care about you and nobody else. Be glad the trash took itself out. Who knows what other kinds of BS they try to pull in the future. This doesn't make sense because the sister was there and witnessed it too. So how did you make up the story? Yes, that's what Dad is saying now. I don't know if he believes it himself, or he's just trying to break my husband and me up by making him doubt me. My husband doesn't want anything to do with my family anymore and advised me not to go investigate anymore and just let them go. Your husband is right. Let them go. Let them live in denial. You told them what happened, and how they reacted is on them. They are now trying to break your little family up in retaliation, so cut them off. At least for now. Next story is titled, Update. I threw a low blow at my boyfriend at 20 male during an argument, and I don't know how to fix it. 22 female. Original story. We have a great relationship, and I think I may have ruined it. We have been dating for a year, and we are going fine. My boyfriend has a tendency to forget things. He manages it well, but sometimes I have to remind him of things. He forgot to take the spare key I had given him when he was coming over to my place. I was at my friend's place and her boyfriend had just broken up with her and she was a mess. I was just helping her calm down and it was pretty emotionally stressful. It was a bad relationship and I had told her that it would be better if she left it. She started to blame me for the breakup and she lashed out on me. It was very hurtful. He texted me while I was already in a bad mood and I told him I would be over in half an hour. It took me about 1.5 hours to get back. I could see he was slightly irritated. I'd asked him to bring over something that he had forgotten at his place. He had forgotten it too, and I just snapped. I said that my friends were right and I was dating a freaking idiot. It was a pretty hurtful thing to say because he was pretty hurt. He was very hurt by it and I apologized immediately, but he was really sad. He is insecure about his intelligence, and I just insulted about something he is insecure about. I have tried to apologize for it and he says it is fine, but I can see that he is still hurt by it. I reacted like a child that hurt him. He is so sweet that he brought the things over the next morning even though it is a 2-hour drive to work for him from my place. I want to fix this. I don't know how to fix this. Now for the top advice before reading the update. If my friends called my girlfriend an idiot, I would never talk to them again. But I can't even imagine saying that to her myself. If I was him, I would lose a lot of trust with you and feel insecure and anxious every time you go see your friends. If you can't stick up for this man with your friends and even repeat what they say to him, you should let him find someone who appreciates him even with his flaws that aren't his fault. Right? Memory that sticks in my mind to this day 20 years later is when some random guy called my mom a witch for accidentally bumping into him while we were at Disney World when I was 6, and my dad turned right away and knocked him on his butt. Can't imagine ever doing anything less if someone said something awful about a person I love, let alone a friend doing it. What an awful way to treat your man. Damn, girl. You not only insulted him, you confirmed that you and your friends think and talk about him that way. You'll be lucky if he moves on and lets you make it up to him. But if you don't, at the very least, change your awful behavior and quash that type of talk from your friends, you don't deserve the chance. In one fell swoop, he has learned you and your friends have discussed his intelligence behind his back, and that you think he is an idiot. Honestly, it's really hard to come back from that. He will likely never trust any compliments from you and your friends again. You should have an open and honest discussion about what led you to say it. Not simply apologize, He might be willing to move forward if he understands the context and is able to accept it was a slip of the tongue. Maybe, I'm no expert. This is easy to fix, and ironically, it involves a spare key. Step 1, give him back any key you have to his place. Step 2, leave the poor guy alone. You are a toxic mess. He deserves better than you. Look how, even in this message, you try to blame him and justify your crappy behavior. You admit to griping about him and your friends. You are a garbage person. Get away and let the guy have a shot at a better life with a better partner. And now for the update. We broke up. I tried to make it work, but it was clear the trust was gone, and he broke up with me. I miss him, but I didn't deserve him. I hurt him really badly. He said he couldn't ever trust me, and he didn't believe it when I said I loved him. The most messed up part of me calling him an idiot is that I didn't believe it for 1 second. I didn't talk bad about him, and every time my friend tried to diss him, I would defend him. I was lying to hurt him, and I feel that is worse than telling the truth. It was a really cruel thing to do. Someone posted a link to a page about verbal mistreatment. At first I thought it was BS because I never seen a relationship where the partners don't yell. I mean, my parents used to throw things at each other, so I thought yelling and cussing them out was healthier than that. I am a mess. I've started therapy and I need to take a lot of time to deal with my harmful tendencies. I'm an okay human 99% of the time, but when I get stressed and really annoyed, I lash out and hurt people I love. I don't want to be that person anymore. I've pulled away from my friend group too. They're just as messed up as I am. It was automatic. My brain just went into overdrive and picked up the meanest, nastiest thing so that I can hurt him. I don't know if I can change that. If I can't change, I wonder what will I do. I don't want to be like mom and dad, but I think I'm just like them. I have a lot of work to do. I just wished that I realized how messed up I am before I hurt the sweetest person in my life. Good job taking accountability for your actions. This is a classic example of how toxic and harmful behaviors are normalized and thus repeated. It's going to take massive work to unpack this and to recalibrate what normal healthy behavior in a relationship is. Keep at it. You can do it. I am scared. I don't know if I can change. I'm going to try really hard, but I don't know what will I do if I can't fix myself. I wish my girlfriend, soon-to-be ex-girlfriend, realized this because she does the same thing. Great when everything is going well, but as soon as she gets stressed, she hurts me with things she says. My ex was like that too. Seems to be common. I just want you to know that the person you are at 22 doesn't have to be the person you will be at 32. You are fully capable of improving your empathy skills, emotional intelligence, and keeping a lid on your temper in therapy. You can learn how to communicate better. You can learn how to identify and express your emotions in a healthy way. And over time, it becomes your new worldview. I know it because I've lived it, right down to the unhealthy temper and poor relationship role models. I wasn't emotionally stable at 22. At 32, my therapist frequently compliments me on my handling of situations and communication skills. You are not your parents, you're you, and you can grow.